Hey everybody, Jim Edwards here, and welcome to episode 135 of the Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks podcast. I'm your host, Jim Edwards, along with my trusty co-host and podcast producer, Mr. Stu Smith. Welcome, Stu.
Hello, Jim.
Stu, I know that we have something that you want to talk about today, but I don't want to talk about that. But let's hear about what you want to talk about, and I'll tell you what I want to talk about, and then we can wrestle.
Okay. Well, it was kind of what we were discussing in the Jim and Stu show. It kind of segues real nicely into here. And it's basically this, and it's asking the audience, since we are doing this live, questions. Like, do you have a marketing strategy? Is your system kind of like the business norm? Whatever you want to call that. Are you out of the box thinker and marketer? Or are you a big spender or no out of pocket money whatsoever? No zero budget for marketing? How do you get the word out about what you do and how do you stay relevant? That is the big question to everybody.
Okay. So I guess we can talk about that. I wanted to talk about something else. It's interesting, and I'm gonna fold it into what you're talking about here. So one of the things that you just said, I mean, are you one of those people that, what kind of a marketer are you? But really what it comes down to when we're talking about marketing is you can spend money or you can spend time or you can spend a combination of the two to get the word out about your product. So when I first started out, I had zero money. I mean, I was literally bankrupt and living in a trailer park. And so that really shaped my business practices because I had absolutely no money to buy ads with. So I focused on marketing through relationships. I did it with joint ventures. So if I wanted to create a product, I went and found somebody who already had an audience, who already had a budget, who already had a system, who already had a tribe, who already had a following that I could plug into, and then made them an offer they could not refuse. In other words, they had more to gain by me being successful than even I did. And by doing so, they plugged me into their world. And what happened was, as I plugged into each of these worlds, people started coming over into my world. And I started developing my own list and developing my own following. And so I never really needed to spend money on ads, ever. Now, people might say, yeah, but Jim, you were always giving up 50% up to your partner. And then you were even giving 50% up on the front end with affiliates. So in the end, you might sell $100 product and you ended up with, like, after credit card fees, like $20. Well, let me ask you a question. You ever run ads?
Yeah.
How many of you have ever run ads where you were happy to make about a 10% after all the ad spend and cost of goods sold and all that other stuff? So for most part, I got paid to acquire a customer instead of losing money to acquire a customer. And then after that, every dollar I made off of that customer was gravy for the rest of my life. So my whole thought process on this is that you're going to spend money or you're going to spend time or you're going to spend a combination of the two. So which one will give you the biggest bang for your buck? Running an ad on Facebook or developing a relationship with somebody who has a list of 10, 15, 20,000 of your perfect customers whom you can create a product with and they promote it to their list and you make a nice chunk and all of a sudden a whole bunch of people know exactly who you are. So and then people say, well, which one should I do? And my answer is
both.
Both. Very good, Stu. Excellent. You do them both. People, oh, well, I'm only going to do this. I'm only do that. No, you do it all. But you will naturally gravitate towards one or the other. And what you want to do is make sure you don't neglect the other one that you're not drawn to. Because I know somebody who spends up to $1 million a month on ads. and has no list. And he spends all this money driving traffic to affiliate offers and has no list at all. And to me, that's a huge mistake, because even if he had just gotten 10% of the people that he had driven this traffic to over the years to sign up to a list, then everything is gravy. Everything is gravy after that. So that's something else to think about, is why I say you don't want to be all one or the other. And I know other people, their whole business is doing a webinar or doing several webinars a week, the exact same webinar, and they're in this incestuous pool of people that are all doing webinars that they promote everybody else's webinar. So I promote you, you promote me, we promote them, they promote us, and all this other stuff. And then you have to reciprocate whether it makes sense to your audience or not. So everybody's all on the same list, but it's weird. But they don't run any ads, and they don't even know how. But their conversion rates on their webinars suck, and more sucky, and the show up rates are getting more and more sucky because there's no new blood coming in. So you don't want to have, when you go to a park and they got that one pond somewhere and it's really pretty until you look at it and you realize it's got 6 inches of kelpy, mossy crap and all the fish are dying. And you realize that the reason for that is because there's no inflow. There's no fresh flow, and there's no flow off. There's no off lane for people who aren't interested anymore. So you want to have a nice flow in, a nice flow out, and gradually just having your pool getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's got to be a combination of everything, if that makes sense.
Oh, sure. It's a good one. Very good. I tend to do more of a kind of a content marketing model, where there is always, and learned this from you, there's always a hook story offer in every piece of my content, whether that is a social media post, a live Q&A with, on video, social media, newsletters to my list. There's always something in there that brings them back to the store.
Sure.
And I tend to spend a little less on marketing. However, when I have a really good,
when you say less money.
Yeah, less money.
Okay.
But when I have something really good that I think is really good, I will put that into a boost, or actually buy, social media ads for it. So anyway, that is kind of where my marketing is, and it's focused mainly on content marketing versus just throwing out ads everywhere.
Right. Well, and I'm going to share something with y'all. Because I think this is kind of what you're saying, and this is what I do. So, you've got your store, and you've also got individual products. Okay. And so over here's you, and out here are your potential customers. I mean, these are your avatars. All right. So you're putting content out to them, whether it might be Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or stuff like that. So there's this constant kind of undercurrent of content marketing that's going out. Every once in a while, one of these things just really hits. I mean, it goes great. So you pour a little money into it, and you're able to not only hit your own people that you're already on your list, but you're also hitting other people that are similar to them. Yep. Now, this is what a lot of people do, but this is where a lot of people stop. And what you need to do, if they're all on only on these other sites, then what happens if Facebook goes away? What happens if Instagram goes away? What happens if YouTube goes away? Which it can happen. So what you have to do is find a way to get these people onto some sort of an email list. Then you also want to do events, and these can be webinars, these can be challenges, these can be whatever. There's some kind of an event that you can promote with email and also promote with these other means to get these people to show up. But what you also want to do is realize that there are other people out there that you can create strategic partnerships with who have their followings that you can leverage content by talking about them. And then you develop a relationship, and then they can do an event with you. They can create your content. They can send people to your store. They can send people to your individual products. But the key is all of this starts by understanding who is your avatar, who else has that avatar, and then how can you create massive value for them consistently across different channels and in a whole bunch of different mediums, all with the intention of driving people to your products and driving people to your store so that they can pay for the value.
Nice.
And there you go. I mean, that's the model.
Yes.
Somebody says, what happens when the internet goes away? If the internet goes away, then you've got bigger problems than the fact that the internet has gone away. You better be good at interpersonal selling. Like, hey, would you sell me that gallon of gas for these 3 bushels of corn? Or how much you want for that pig, mister? So yeah, the internet ain't going anywhere. But as we've seen, I mean, I got thrown in Facebook jail 3 times through no fault of my own. It was a technical issue that I figured out. It was something relatively simple, with switching from Verizon to my home network in the middle of a video was what triggered something. There was no recourse. There was no human. There was nobody to appeal to. So you have to be ready. But then, like the other day when Facebook went out for 6, 8, 10 hours, however long it was, I didn't even know. And frankly didn't care and hoped that it came back up, but I didn't register with me one bit.
Yeah, it didn't bother me either.
And so the point, though, is that when you kind of see it as that holistic thing, you can see, okay, where am I putting in all my effort, but where should I be focusing other effort? And if you're not focused on using social media to build relationships with other influencers, you're really making a mistake, because that's probably the most valuable thing you can do besides building up your tribe, because you don't own the tribe. Facebook owns your followers on Facebook. Instagram owns your followers on Instagram. TikTok owns your followers on TikTok. They own them. You don't. They shut down your account. You can never talk to those people again. So that's something to keep in mind as well. The only thing you can own is an email list. And then the most profitable thing that you can do is develop a relationship with the people on that email list. The size of your list doesn't matter. What matters is the quality of the relationship that you have with the people, so that when you do see, and I want you to watch this, Steve. Watch how I bring this all the way back to what we're talking about.
I love it.
So that when you do a sale on Cyber Monday or Thanksgiving or Christmas or Memorial Day or Veterans Day or January 1st, people are waiting for you to make them an offer. They're hanging on to their money until they hear from you. You have such a strong relationship with them that when somebody does an affiliate contest, people contact you and say, hey, so-and-so is doing an affiliate contest. Are you selling that as an affiliate? Because I would like to buy through you. that's when you know you have a really good relationship with your list. And that's why I hear them saying things like, well, Jim, you're giving away too much for free. Hey, Jim, you're making it hard on the rest of us. Hey, Jim. Hey, Jim. Hey, Jim. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
And what I see it as is I'm putting in golden nickels into the bank account of life. And so when it's time to make a withdrawal, it's not like I'm treating it like a slot machine. It's a bank account. I know that I've put in so much value that when I ask for value in return, people willingly and eagerly give it. I'm not sure if that answered your question, but that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So I weaved it back in with what we were talking about. You like that jujitsu?
I like that. No, that was really good. I mean, there's so many ways to do it. And the thing that I try to do and try to help people do as well is try to diversify those options.
Yes.
So you are getting multiple streams out there tested. Really, I'm doing tests. Like, even though there's like 5 or 6 major holidays between now and New Year's, I am only going to do a few of them on certain social media. Like, there'll be one on Twitter that I won't do on the others. There'll be
Right.
one on TikTok that I won't do on the others.
Right.
So it's just testing out, different branches of how you are marketing with different things that work. And if something works over on one, you pull it over to another.
Well, but what you can also do to increase the pulling power is to say, this is a TikTok exclusive offer.
There you go.
This is a TikTok only offer today. This is an Instagram only offer today. So just don't do them on the same day. And you're right. But if you throw in that little because, then you should get a bump in conversion when it's, this is my TikTok special. And even if I don't normally like to train people to wait, but even if you wanted to start doing like TikTok Tuesday is a special deal day. TikTok Tuesday is when you can get 20% off any of my books, but just today. And it's only today. Well, I change this coupon code every day. I mean, every week. So it's only good for one day, but it's TikTok Tuesday. And then it's Instagram, it's Facebook Friday. It's Instagram instant. I don't know. Nothing rhymes with Instagram. Gram wham. That's, some kind of a thing where you're acknowledging them where they are, but you're doing something that will get them off of the freaking platforms and into your email list. Yes. I'm telling you right now that if I was going to give you any warning for the coming year, ads are going to do nothing but keep getting more and more and more and more expensive. Yep. I mean, they doubled this year, it seems like. They're only going to get more expensive. These platforms are only going to become more of a pain in the rear end. And in the end, if you don't have a list, you have nothing. If you don't have an email list, you have nothing. So I told you, I done told you. So if we come back next year and we should listen, Jim, I'm going to say I told you so. So Carl likes that idea. That right there, exclusive special TikTok Tuesday. I love that. I wonder if TikTokTuesday.com is available. I wouldn't do anything with it. I'd just pay for it for the next 30 years. But I like that,
So we have a few minutes.
Okay.
I do want to share my wizard victory that I had this week.
Oh, yeah.
Used your wizard once again for something that it is not intended to be used for.
I thought you used the quote wizard.
I did.
Well, it was intended for what you did.
Well, yeah, kind of. But I wrote an article from the quote wizard. So I took this quote wizard, wrote an article, and I quoted 2 people. One of them's long gone, like ancient Roman
Virgil.
Poet.
Was it Virgil?
Yeah. And then the other one is a living, very popular podcaster named Gabby Bernstein.
Okay.
And so I quoted her, and they both had similar quotes that just kind of went well together. And so I actually I sent an email to the producer of Gabby's podcast with that article in it to say, hey, I really like what Gabby's putting out there. Quoted her in one of my articles and shared it. Just wanted to let you know. So I put it up on her radar, because my secondary goal, not only to do some content marketing with a fun quote that explains, just kind of a passion, and you know you can apply to your passion to whatever in life. But it was also to get on her very popular podcast. So it almost kind of created a a good guy script to say, hey, I like what you're putting out. Here I am. Let me know. Let me know if you want to do some podcast work. So my second email to her is just say, hey, I just noticed you guys have a really popular podcast. If you need guests, so I'm going to invite myself on her podcast. Or
Did you ever hear?
I might invite her on mine as
I
well.
would invite her on your podcast first.
Yeah.
That's the way I would do it. Give to get.
Yeah.
Invite them to come and be interviewed by you.
Yep.
To your audience.
So just an idea to use the quote wizard to quote somebody that you want to maybe do business with in the future somehow, right? That is a level up from what your audience, or maybe it will help expand your audience even further. Just some ideas. So
absolutely,
yeah, I thought
it's a
that
way
was
to
kind of
curry favor.
Yeah. So I got a few more quotes in the hopper for doing exactly that again to other big podcasters.
Okay. Awesome. Well, let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, that's all I got for today, but I thought that was good stuff. And Carlin says relationship building with the quote wizard. Yeah. That's actually a something that we could talk about in the future. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do. I get emails all the time from people who are trying to get me to be on their, well, they're not trying to get me on their podcast. They're trying to be on my podcast. And my response is non-existent, because I know that they've never watched the podcast. They've never listened to the podcast, because they know that we very rarely have guests. And when we do have guests, it's for a very specific purpose. So if you wanted to get on our podcast, go fulfill that purpose, and we will have you on here in a hot minute.
Yeah.
But, not just cause. So there you go. All right. Well, we appreciate y'all. Have a great day.
Mr. Pickles was kind of quiet, but there you go. Maybe next time he'll be wrapped up. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Craig. Craig says beard looking phenomenal, Jim. Yeah, this is just what happens when you don't shave. So if you'd like an epic beard, don't shave. That's what my sister-in-law does.
Damn.
She'll never see it. On that note, everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.